Hi, in this video we're going to have a look at moving our Windows 10 machine that's currently plugged into switch 2, bridging it to our external network card, and thereby acting as though the Windows 10 machine has left the office and is now perhaps done a home visit or gone to the hospital and needs to be able to get back into the system, GWMP medical system, in order to update some more information. So what we're going to do is bridge to this external NIC, be able to create a VPN tunnel back through to the front of our ADSL modem here, which in our case is a 0 shell, and then to be able to get an IP address for the subnet that is attached to switch 1 and allow access for the external Windows 10 machine to still access, for example, mail off the web server, things like that. So we're going to, there's several ways you can create a VPN tunnel. So we can create a VPN tunnel from the Windows 10 machine that terminates on the front interface of our ADSL, and our ADSL, our 0 shell, could handle that in a couple of different ways. It could use an internal radius server or an external radius server, which in our case would be server A, or create, just say, a maybe a port 80 request and do a port address translation and port forwarding through to our server B. So not using a VPN tunnel, but just port forwarding and port addressing through. The third VPN tunnel type way of doing it would be to do a pass through. So we would pass through port 1723 back to server A and then have the VPN tunnel terminate on server A. So there's three potential ways of doing VPN tunnels, and a way of avoiding VPN tunnels completely and just using a port 80 request, or non-standard port's probably the better way to do it, and then allow access back to our server B to get web, mail, that sort of stuff. Okay, so first thing is to attach our Windows 10 machine to our external. So let's ramp up. There's our Windows 10 machine. It's currently logged into the domain under, I think, doc4. There it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the networking, and we're going to change switch 2, and we're going to attach that or bridge it to the network card. So we've got two network cards. One of them is the onboard, and the other one is the plugged in PCI card, which is this one here. That's the one that's bridged out to the internet. So if we bridge it to that, and we're going to log out of the domain and just log into the local machine. We just go other user. So instead of signing into GWMP, we probably need, hang on, we need to just check what the name of the actual machine is first. So logging back in. Yep, can't find it because we've unplugged it from switch 2, so it can't actually log into the domain. Do you want to okay. So we really want the local administrator. Sign out. And we'll sign back in again as another user. I think it's Win10 is the name of the machine, and administrator. Okay, so maybe I've got the wrong name of the machine. Let's go back and check. So if I go to our server A, which is this machine here, and have a look at Active Directory users and computers. Have a look at computers. We can see that it is actually called Win10. Okay, so administrator. Actually, instead of going in as administrator, I think we went in as Yoda. Okay, so now we're bridged to the external network. So we've taken this Windows 10 machine and bridged it to here and logged in locally to that machine. So it's not logged into the domain, and what we want to do is create the VPN tunnel back into our ADSL, initially with an internal radius, and then later on with an external radius, and then as a pass-through. Okay, so we've logged in locally to that machine there. That's all we need to do at the moment. The next thing that we would do is actually to create the client end of the VPN. The server end is on the ADSL, so we're going to do that. We'll go to probably server A, and we'll web browse into the front ADSL. We'll go, that's all okay. Maximize it. Do we have a... No, we don't. So we're just going to use Internet Explorer. That's okay. And so it's 192.168.10.1. And we'll continue to the website. It's admin and 0 shell. Okay, so what we need to do now is to set up a VPN connection, and there's a host to LAN VPN, there's a host to LAN layer 2 tunneling protocol with IPsec, and a host to LAN point-to-point tunneling protocol, and then there's a LAN to LAN, which is also an open VPN. The simplest one is probably the point-to-point tunneling protocol. Currently it says that it's down. Let's enable it. Warning, you should also enable the radius server. And our client IP addresses to assign, we will assign them the IP addresses from our internal network. So 192.168.10. Now I'm just going to go from say 200 to 250, so they're well out of the way. I'll leave the 250 there. So it's 192.168.10.250 source net. Okay, so we'll make a save. What we need to do then is to go to radius, and we need to go to users first and create a user. So this is for internal radius, so we've got a user there. We need to add a user, so I'm just going to go, let's add Yoda. And we'll just give him the same name. I think we also have to give him a last name as well for some reason. I think he was in the Alliance. Radius, expiration date, okay, password. There's an interesting thing here where we can, via radius, allocate a VLAN. So it's possible that when you authenticate a person coming in via a VPN tunnel, that you also allocate them a particular VLAN, which allows you to separate traffic internally. So they've got access only to the things that are on that particular VLAN, which is quite a handy thing. So we'll submit that. This creates the user, and they've also got a certificate. So I think we've got radius is turned on. We have a user called Yoda, who's from group Nobody. And we have a machine out here, which is actually logged in as Yoda currently. And we will need to make this Windows 10 machine create a VPN tunnel in onto the Zero shell. Okay, so what we need to do now is create the VPN tunnel from our Windows 10 machine to our Zero shell. So what we're going to do is go to the settings. Actually, before we do that, we probably should just check our current IP addresses. So if I just run command prompt and IP config/all, we can see that we've got an IP address of 47.201 up here, and 47.1 and you know the DNS servers with a gateway of 47.1. So 47.1 is the little router at the NAS box at the front of our room, and that's what we've got. So the IP address that we're looking for is also in the 47 subnet, but it's we want to create a VPN tunnel from this machine at 47.201 to the Zero shell, which if you have a look at the Ether00 address just to the right of the cursor here, if I sort of click in there, it's got a dynamic IP address of 192.168.47.216. So number one, we want to know that we can ping it. Ping 192.168.47.216. And yes, we can ping the front of the ADSL modem. And we know that we've set up the front of our ADSL modem with the user Yoda, and with the VPN we've done a host to LAN, and we've activated and we'll give it an IP address somewhere in the 10.200 to 10.250 range. So once we get a VPN connection in, that's what we should get, provided it's been radius authenticated against a user profile that we have locally, which in our case will be Yoda. Okay, so what we do is just go to the settings on our Windows 10 machine. Network and internet, you can see it's got VPN there. Sorry, back out one. We want to go to VPN, and we want to add a VPN connection. Now our VPN provider is just going to be the built-in Windows one. Connection name, I'll just call this Get Well Medical Practice, and the server name or address, we're going to give it the IP address 192.168.47.216 if you remember, and the type is we set a point-to-point tunneling protocol. We could easily have set a layer 2 tunneling protocol, but we just set a straight old simple point-to-point tunneling protocol, and we'll hit there's some additional stuff down here. Type of sign in, username, password. We could change that to you know, smart card or something like that, but the username password's good, and we'll go And we could automate this by putting the username and password already in. We're not going to do that. We're going to enter it as we sign in. So we'll just go save here. That creates our connection, and it's just a matter of clicking on that and connecting and typing in our username and password. So we want Yoda and his password, and hit the OK button. It's verifying, completing the connection, and connected. Okay, so we should have now a VPN connection to our ADSL, which is our zero shell. If we do an IP config /all, we will see that we've got our standard Ethernet adapter, which has got the 47201. We've also got a PPP, or point-to-point protocol called Get Well Medical, which has got an IP address of 10.200, which is exactly what we expect, because that's what we told in here with the VPN tunnel, sorry. On the host to LAN VPN tunnel, we told it 10.200 to 10.250. So 10.200 is exactly what we expect. But what we're looking for is the fact that we can actually see other machines within the 10 subnet. So what we're going to do is we'll just ping one. So we know that, for example, our server B, which is our exchange, if we do an IP config on that, we know that it's 10.3. So what we're trying to do is get to 10.3. So let's try and ping it. 192.168.10.3, and you can see that we can ping it. And if we can ping it, then we should be able to web browse it as well. So let's just the web we've got is the Internet Explorer. I'm going to stop it from getting out to the internet and go. Now, in order for us to get our email, it's HTTPS. So it's HTTPS 192.168.10.3, and we continue on to the website, and you can see that we get our Outlook web access, and assuming we're a doctor, let's log in as, say, Doc2 or something like that, Doc2 with our password, and sign in. And you can see that we've got a hello message from the administrator. What we're going to do is reply to that. Okay, there's our message, and we're going to reply, and we're going to say thank you for the welcome. Cheers, Doc2. And we'll send that. Now what we're going to do is go to our sent items, and we can see that we've sent it. So it's not sitting in the drafts, it's sent. We could grab another machine, let's say the server A, here it is, open up another tab and tell it to go to HTTPS server B, oh, maybe I didn't spell it right. Server B. Okay. And we'll log in as the administrator, so GWMP /administrator. Okay, so we've logged in, and we can see here that we have a message from Doc 2 which is saying thank you very much, and we could reply and have an email message between somebody that's on the inside of the network and our Windows 10 machine, which is connected to our network via a VPN tunnel. So this allows internal access to our Get Well Medical Practice network externally via a VPN tunnel, and that's what we were to achieve with our Windows 10 machine for a doctor that's gone for a home visit or to a hospital or something like that, and needs to get back in and adjust, either send emails or adjust medical records or whatever he needs to do. So long as he's got internal access back to the network, and we've achieved that via a fairly simple point-to-point tunneling protocol VPN tunnel. Okay, which is about the simplest one that you can do. Okay, that ends this video.